Hi everyone, I thought I would do a big snail update for a change. This is a Rick update. I haven't updated you on Rick for ages because I've been focusing on doing lots of videos about the babies, because I want to make sure I record the progress of the babies week by week, because it might be the only time I actually grow some from eggs. So it's quite nice to have a record just for my own personal records, just so I can see them, and it's nice to look back on them and see what they were like when they're babies. But I thought I haven't done an update on Rick for a while, so I thought I would do one. So this is Rick. He is my biggest giant African land snail. He's an Achatina fullica, the same as the rest of the snails that I have. He is my oldest. He is nearly 4 years old, and all the rest are 1 year old, and then the babies are, at the time of filming, the babies are actually 7 weeks now. And like I said, Alvin, Simon, Theodore and Morty are all 1 year old. So this is my old dude. He went through a phase when he was younger of not coming out a lot, not eating much. I had a lot of difficulty getting him to eat, even though I tried a wide range of foods. So I changed his diet a few times. I finally found one that he really, really likes, so we're sticking with that, and that's the diet that I feed all the snails. If you want to see what I feed my giant African land snails, that'll be in a link to the video in the description, because there's a full video on it. Now, obviously, in this video, he's eating some cucumber. Cucumber I only give once a week as a treat. That's why he's going berserk, trying to eat as much of it as he can before I take it away. Cucumber, I just give them just for water, just to make sure they're nicely hydrated, really. They do have a water dish, the bigger ones do, but obviously the babies don't. So the babies rely on me spraying the tank so they can lick the water off the side of the tank or off the veggies, and they have a piece of cucumber each week so they can use that as moisture. And then for the big snails, this is just a treat. As you can see, because his antennae are down and he's looking at it, that means he's really interested in what he's eating and enjoying it. And he eats lots of different foods now. He is smaller than other giant African land snails I've had. But that's the nature of fullicas nowadays, because a lot of fullicas are in the pet trade and have been inbred. You tend to get smaller fullicas now. I mean, don't get me wrong, he looks fairly small from this angle, but once he's in my hand, his shell fills the palm of my hand, and once his whole foot's out, he does cover my hand completely. So he's a decent size, but I have had snails that are bigger. His sibling, unfortunately, only lived for 2 years, was it? 2 years. I don't know what happened to his sibling. They've both been treated the same, looked after the same conditions and everything, and for some reason the one day the sibling was just dead when I got up in the morning. So I'm assuming these were kind of like slightly runty or genetically inferior. Rick does, as you can see by his shell, he always has these little sort of white lines at the edges of his shell, that sort of just stay there as the shell grows. So you can see these different lines in his shell, and as you can see during the summer by the wide part of new shell, he did do a lot of growing this summer, which was surprising. Last summer he didn't really grow that much. I tend to find their growth slows down in the winter, but in the summer they will grow quite big. And already some of my babies are catching up with Rick. Alvin, he's 1 year old, and he's not far off the size of Rick. And so is Morty. Morty's not far off the size of Rick. So he is little for an adult, but he's all right. He seems perfectly healthy. There's no deep retraction. He's got a nice big body. He eats plenty of food. The unusual thing about Rick is he will come out during the day to eat. Everyone else will be asleep and he'll be sitting there munching away. And he's quite an active snail, so you do get a chance to watch him a lot. I find the other African land snails tend to be out early morning or like early evening, and then they'll come out obviously during the night. Rick will come out any time of the day he's hungry. He doesn't care whether it's bright sunshine or pitch black. He'll be out and eating, and He's quite a happy snail. He's mated quite a few times since being with the other snails, because the other snails were obviously originally in quarantine for a bit when I had them, because I bought them, and obviously you have to make sure they haven't got any diseases or any problems. And then obviously as they've grown to be not far off Rick's size, I put them together in the big tank. So he has helped me produce some of the babies that are currently 7 weeks old. Some of them are Rick's children. Some of them are Morty's. They're a mixture of Rick and Morty's, and I believe the batch of eggs that I actually grew, I think most of them were laid by Rick, to be fair. If not, they were definitely laid by Morty, because they were the two that bred first, and they're the two that produced clutches of eggs first. So yeah, this is the parent of my babies, or one of the parents, and yeah, he's doing very, very well. Very happy snail. He's always exploring. He's a lot more active than he used to be. Like I said, for the 1 year, he went through a phase where he was very lethargic and wasn't moving around much, and I thought he was going to actually die off like the other one, like his sibling did, but for some reason he pulled through. Whatever it was, he got over, and he's been going from strength to strength since. And I find he tends to be the one that will look at me in the morning. He's not shy at all. He's quite happy to sit in my hand eating a lettuce leaf, or eating some carrot or some other veggies. If you want to see him, all you got to do is put a piece of cucumber in front of him and he'll pop out quite quickly. And yeah, he's a very happy boy, and he absolutely adores snail mix. He eats snail mix like I'd eat chocolate. He absolutely adores it. I find when I put snail mix in the tank, Rick will actually position himself in the middle of the tray with the snail mix on, and he will sit there all day, and he will keep eating until most of it's gone, like till he possibly can't squeeze any more food in, and then he'll finish whatever's left off later on in the day. He absolutely adores it, so I do make sure I provide it for him. He likes mealworms. He has tried a little bit of beef mince. He wasn't too bothered, but he did nibble it, because you can give them meat, because obviously in the wild they're natural clean-up crew, so they would eat dead animals, lots of vegetation. The only thing I've found that he doesn't like is he doesn't like mushrooms. He's not a fan. Nibbled it a couple of times and then walked away from it as if to say, I ain't eating that rubbish. He loves blueberries. He loves, obviously, as you can see, cucumber, mixed salad leaves, carrot. He has tried raspberry, but he's not bothered. What else did he eat? Oh, he loves mango as well. He loves mango. He'll sit there for ages eating it like he does cucumber. And obviously his snail mix. If you put some fish food flakes in water, he absolutely adores it. So sometimes I will just mix some fish food flakes into the water and he'll eat that. So yeah, he's got a nice, well-balanced diet. He eats a wide range of food. He absolutely adores cuttlefish. He's tried calcium biscuits that I make. He's not too bothered, but he's used to the cuttlefish, and he will quite happily nibble cuttlefish for a long time, depending on how much he's growing, obviously. And I find he prefers it when the cuttlefish is fresh. Like if the cuttlefish has been in the tank for a bit, he'll nibble it, but not. He's quite keen when it's brand new. So he's always the first to go on to a new piece of cuttlefish. And basically he's my guinea pig. So if there's any new food I want to try, I tend to test it with Rick first, because he's always the first one to try anything. If he doesn't like it, it's more than likely that the others aren't going to bother, out the big ones. If he does like it, then you can guarantee that the other big ones will eat it. The only one I found different between the adults and the babies was mushrooms. I found the babies quite like the mushrooms, but the big ones were like, nah, we are eating that. But yeah, it's quite a happy boy. How he sleeps is funny. Basically, he folds his head in, folds his foot in half over his head, and then goes to sleep, which makes me laugh. So he's always there, and he just looks like he's got his arm, like he's just got his foot folded in front of his head. And then of the morning, if he's not sure, he'll just poke one eye out and have a little look around before he decides if he's coming out or not. He's not nervous or anything. He's quite happy to explore. He's the one snail I would have to watch because he's an escape artist. But the lid I've got on the tank is quite heavy, and the flap that does open up on the tank I've glued shut, so he ain't getting out. But he's like some of my older snails where I know if there was a chance he'd be gone. But yeah, he's a very happy boy. So I hope you enjoyed this Rick update. I'll let you know when he's 4. He's not 4 just yet, but he's nearly 4. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.